everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Agnes Low, professional corporate trainer and strength coach. Today, I'm very happy in my happiness transformation series. Before Christmas, I have a very, very dear friend of mine coming from Kuching, Malaysia. And her story about where she is working and also related to a lot of volunteer work, you probably will get a lot of inspiration from her life. Where did I know her? I think it's many, many years ago. Actually, we went to a lot of different classes to personal growth course, core value training, and I really feel very impressed, and I'm very, very happy and honored to know Jodie. I would like to introduce my very good friend who is working as an executive director of Sarawak Children's Cancer Society, and is also a committee member of the Childhood Cancer International Asia region. And she has a lot of volunteer experience, and she is going to share with you. So let's welcome Jodie. Thank you, Jodie, for joining me today.
Hi, Agnes. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Really special to be able to have this session with you, especially virtually now since you're living in Canada and myself in Malaysia. So a little bit about me. I really enjoy contribution. I mean, work relating to contribution since I was a kid. But I never expected to be actually entering this industry as a full-time job. Apart from that, I love outdoor activities, sports, nature, and a lot about learning, self-discovery, learning, and empowerment of people.
I know that you had a very special insight about joy and also happiness. What is the difference?
Yeah, specifically, I chose this topic today, joy in difficult times. It may sound a bit contradicting, to a lot of people. How do you find joy in difficult times, especially now during the pandemic and the effect of the pandemic, with economy, also a lot of relationships and health challenges. It's a stressful time for many people. And so as many people are also going through depression and stress-related anxiety during this period of time, and I thought it was very important to distinguish between joy and happiness. So for me, my understanding about joy, it's something within ourselves. It's an attitude. It's a constant state of mind. It's not something that is easily affected about what's happening on the outside. So it's something more permanent, I would say, rather than happiness, which is more triggered by the outside and external environment. For example, if you're having an ice cream, you're having a really good meal, or you met up with a friend, or your favorite song is playing, and that really could boost your mood and you become very happy. But at the same time, that is very temporal. So understanding joy is still there during difficult times because it is a choice that we make, a constant choice to live in that sense of, maybe gratitude or peace or inner fulfillment. So for example, in the job that I do with the children with cancer, a lot of people would ask me, how do you do your work? Isn't it very depressing working in cases where, children with cancer and they may potentially die? How do you work and not be sad and, find hope in this kind of industry? So for me personally, I think it was a lesson that I went through. So there was one particular year, I think it was perhaps 2014 or something like that, where during that year, there were quite a lot of children that actually passed away in the same year. So on average, we have an average year, we may have 60 to 70 new cases of children with cancer. And then the rates of children passing away could be maybe 15 to 20 on the same year. It may not be the same kid, but that year in particular was really high. It was 20 plus number of children that passed away. And so it did take a toll on me personally, you know. So I just happened to be away in one of the core value classes that we attended to. And I took some time off and was trying to figure out this question popped up in my head. Would I regret not knowing the kids, even though I knew that they could possibly lose the fight to cancer and pass away, you know? So because of the attachment and the connection to the children, and that also on the other side of it, the flip side of it is also the grief and the pain, right? So if I didn't have that attachment, then I may not feel that pain. So, yeah.
Wow.
So it really got me thinking, you know, in that sense, like.
It's not easy. I'm very curious. How can you find joy? This is going back to the same question. Finding joy in adversity, finding joy in difficult time. I think we like to learn how to do it, especially your experience of seeing all the lovely kids.
For me, I think the first lesson was coming to accept the part that I can control and the part that I cannot. You know, and so for example, when a child comes in, even a doctor who may try their best may not be able to save a child. You know, we all don't know how long we have, you know, during our lifetime here. But the part that we can control, which is also the part of our job, is how we can make this journey a little better for the child and the caregiver during the period of time here. So when I focus on that, then to focus on the outcome of, you know, what is the, you know, result at the end of the treatment, whether the child will survive or will not survive, but rather the focus would be, have we done our best to support the child and the parent? Have we brought joy? Have we done something to ease their burden during this period of time? That helped me to shift my focus into something that I can control in that way. At the same time, to let go of wanting to control something that I couldn't. But having said that, of course, you know, when you lose someone or you lose a child, you would definitely go through times of, you know, sadness and grief. But I do feel that it's very different to grieve than to suffer in that sense. I do feel that pain is part of life, and you feel a lot about something. That's why you feel pain, because you care so much.
You care, yeah.
Yeah, and you feel numb. So you have a choice in life. You can either try to shield your heart and not try to feel anything. You won't feel very happy. You won't feel very sad. You won't feel much at all. Or you open up your heart and you give your best, but knowing that at times you may get hurt and you may feel pain and you may feel sadness and you may feel anger. But at the same time, knowing that it is a choice that I've made consciously, it is something that's powerful for me. It's not like a choice where I feel like I didn't have a choice. I chose to be able to open my heart and do my best to give that affection to the children or whoever I meet, because I think I realized that my biggest fear is regret. In that sense that, you know, we all have one life to live and we do not know when we're gonna go, in that sense. And my biggest fear is, you know, having that regret that I didn't do enough when I could, or I didn't say what I wanted to say when I could. So that has given me a bit more courage, I would say, to live life a bit more courageously. Yeah, to be more vulnerable in that sense.
Yes, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great sharing. Yeah. And I know that you also have a lot of fundraising, something like that. And I remember a few years ago, you always, almost every year, you shave your hair. Can you share about that part? Because this is not easy as a lady. Sometimes we care so much about our appearance. Even our hairstyle is different. We care about how other people see, but you shave your hair and get bald. So tell us about that event and what did you do at that event?
Okay, so the event that you're referring to is what we call the Go Bold event. I'm sure there are many other similar events held around the world. The aim of that event is to raise awareness about childhood cancer and to show emotional support for cancer patients, that they are not alone in this fight, and even hair loss is a temporary effect. When we started this event, it was definitely a big thing, especially for women, to their hair. And in a small town like Kuching, when you see like women going bald, I think the initial reaction was, does she have cancer? Initially the first few times, because it is such a, like what you said, like a stigma, or, women feel, I think men too, but women especially feel a lack of self-confidence or during that time where they're going through cancer, not only because of cancer, but because of how they look. And there's so much confidence that's associated with our hair, So it actually took me around 4 to 5 years to actually, find that courage and purpose for me to do it for me myself. Because I don't think it's something that you just go out and you shave your head and you have to live with this hair for like a few months for it to actually grow back. So my initial reason for doing the first shave was I wanted to feel how it felt to be bald, and how women who were bald, what were they facing when they went out. And at the time, I also had an uncle that passed away from cancer, and an aunt who is a survivor of breast cancer, and my grandmother passed away from cancer. So it was also a tribute to them as well. Yeah. So the moment I shaved my head, I remember I got really emotional for the first time. I think it was not scared, but I was thinking of my grandma, my uncle, my auntie, and the children who passed away, and it was kind of liberating in that sense, because this is the first time I felt like, okay, so I, a woman, don't have hair. Who am I? That was the question I was asking. Who am I without my hair? Do I still feel pretty? Do I still feel confident? Am I still me? So that first time that I shaved my hair, and the journey after that in the next few months, I felt was a very empowering one for me personally, because I had to go within myself to figure out, what makes me confident. And I realized that confidence truly comes from within myself, and not, of course, the hair accentuates that part. But now if you ask me to lose my hair, of course, I wouldn't just do it for there, but the hair is no longer something that, is as important as it was before, because I know who I am without it, in that sense.
Wow, this is a very meaningful act, I have to say. I remember when I read your social media and then saw your pictures and then know what was the movement or event of your association. I really feel so proud of the people who support this event. Not only you, I know a few other friends You know, our common friends also get their hair shaved. Suddenly, when you talk about the line that, who am I? Then I see a very different kind of message from getting bold. Yeah, it is like almost very naked, very vulnerable. And that vulnerability, you really embrace it using this action of like, I'm also being with you, shave my hair. So I'm very, very proud of you. So can you share any memorable story?
Yeah, there's actually many stories and many children that have really left a big imprint in my heart. And sometimes during my toughest times, when I feel overwhelmed, or like when I feel, times are hard, and I look into their stories, I think of them, and some of them are no longer around. And I think about what they have to endure, and it kind of helped me to shift my focus. Yeah, because I think a lot of time when we are focusing on something, or when we are too engrossed and fixated on a certain challenge, we may, fall into it. But when we want to, like, for example, in difficult times and you're facing a challenge, and maybe other people are like saying, yeah, times are difficult, and everybody goes into that part and feeling that there is hope, there is no hope, So when I think of the kids, for example, I met one of the key stories that helped me to change this perspective about joy, and also finding meaning, even at the time when I felt a little burnout, was Justin. He was a 3-year-old little boy. It was really, really cute. He spent like a year plus at the center, but unfortunately at the end, he didn't respond well to treatment, and he eventually passed away. But one thing, he was not from Kuching. He was actually from another place called Cebu. It's a small town, but I happened to be there. So I actually made a visit to Justin's house the night before he passed away. And during that time, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. He just didn't look really good. And that night, around 9 p.m., I remember I was at the hotel, and the mom called me and said, he passed away. And it was definitely very hard, but at the same time, sometimes towards the end, there is mixed emotions, because when you see someone suffer for so long, there's also a sense of relief when they're no longer suffering, So the next day, I actually chose to go and visit the house again. And even though he has passed away, he looked honestly so much more peaceful than the night before his transition. And I think for me at that moment, as I realized that it's not about the result, I mean, at the end of the day, but it's really that we have played a part in his life during his time. And that is all that matters, and that's all I can do. Then rather than the thought of wanting to save the world, when I realized I can't change the outcome, but I can, try to be more present, and, spend some time with the kids, bring joy, think about what else I can do. With my team right now, they're really, really great. And so they're doing more of the hands-on job than I am right now. But that story about Justin has really changed my focus to what I shared earlier, focus on the things that you can control, and really surrender and trust the universe or God, because there are a lot more things that we have no control of in life. And that has worked for me personally. Yeah. And Justin is just one. And another one is Mas Linda, who has passed away as well. When she learned that she was palliative, when she's no longer responding to treatment, but acceptance of that diagnosis, is that if this is God's will, I fully accept. But she chose in that period of time that she had left to make the most of her time with the family. She went on adventures, enjoy the maximum, like to live her life fully. And I felt that was very inspirational because, you know, when people hear this kind of news, there's two ways. Some people just already go into the end, you know, and like, I'm dying, and just feel like, why me? And of course, it's very hard. It's not an easy emotion to, when somebody tells you there is no hope, in that sense that the treatment, you know, there's nothing we can do with your treatment. But how she accept that with such I don't know, surrender or acceptance. It was really like, how it's not about your age, your maturity, but it's really that she just really inspired me, you know, when she was like she's very pure and innocent. It's like, I accept whatever is, you know, God has chosen for me in that sense, but I'm gonna make the most of my time here.
Yeah, her faith really is very strong. Yeah, she believed that, yeah, to accept. And yeah, sometimes it's not we can change and accept the pain, then we can see the joy past the pain. Thank you so much. Children Cancer Society, what do you do? And then we see what we can help from different part of the world. We can always contribute our awareness.
Sure. Actually, in November this year, we have turned 20 years old. So this society, yeah, was started by a group of parents whose children had cancer. So it initially started with a emotional support group, because actually childhood cancer is pretty rare compared to adult cancer. So maybe out of 100 cases of cancer, maybe only one of it is childhood cancer and the rest is all adult cancer. Yeah, so the services that we provide right now is what we call SAFER. So it starts with support, emotional support, informal counseling for the child and also for the parent or caregiver. We provide accommodation, because logistic is a huge challenge for families in Sarawak. Sarawak is very wide but spread, but the main treatment center is in Kuching. So people actually have to travel really, really far, like from taking boats, taking ferries, you know, taking airplanes to come here, and they may not have a place to stay. So by providing accommodation, free accommodation, transportation and lodging to them, we can alleviate a lot of burdens that these families are facing. Apart from that, we also provide financial aid. But we do a financial assessment to see, you know, where these families are financially, and we provide monthly subsidies during their treatment, and also medical aid, because sometimes there are certain treatments that cannot be done in our local hospitals here, and they have to fly over to KL or other hospitals to carry out like the bone marrow procedures, and it may involve some costs. So we can also provide this kind of support. We also run awareness and education services, mainly to raise the awareness of the parents. Like, for example, what can you cook for your child? You know, what can they eat and not eat? Or the public's perception about childhood cancer, to raise awareness and advocacy for that. And recreation, like we have birthdays, monthly birthdays, celebration. We have festivity celebration at the ward for patients who don't go home. You know, during Chinese New Year, they at the hospital, we cater for food. So we also, before the pandemic, we have a youth camp for survivors, and also a family day for, you know, families to come around. But during the pandemic, these physical activities we can't really organize during this period of time. Yeah, so this is a summary of what we do. Each year we support about 100 to 200 families in Sarawak. So our running cost is about 1.5 million ringgit year. I think if you convert that to USD, it's about 450,000 USD a year. Yeah. So for anyone who's interested to support us, we actually have a monthly donation, a monthly giving program where you can actually register, or you can do a once-off donation at our website, which is sccs.org.my.
I will give your website, yeah, underline, yeah, here, and then people can always search the website. That's really great. And there are some cancer survivors. So do you have any celebration or really have some fun activities with them regularly?
Initially, before the pandemic, we have a yearly, what we call survivors camp. It's a 3-day program where we invite the youth aged from 14 to 25 to come together. And it's actually one of my favorite events that we organize because I think it always brings us back to why we started this. It is the hope and the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, that's the ultimate hope that we hope that every child that comes in would have that kind of future and opportunity. Yeah, so it's always very enriching and empowering for our staff every time we go there. But nonetheless, to be honest, a lot of the survivors, they actually also have certain challenges moving forward from their cancer because there are also late effects. Some of them, maybe they lost their certain limbs. Some of them, maybe their hearing is not so great or their learning is slower, and they their sight, their vision, or their heart, and they may not be able to have kids. Some of them may have permanent, long-term effects. So the challenges that these children, this youth that need to go through for the rest of their life could be rather, large as well, the challenges, the hurdles that they have to go through. But they are certain really amazing youths and how they have turned their challenge into opportunities, become advocates, and, live the life that they wanted. Maybe they felt like because of this, I treasure my life even more. I want to do this, and they get really clear about what they want to do. There's so much conviction. And those are the most inspiring,
Wow,
things.
they are a great role model. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes when we go through difficult times in our life, it can build our confidence. And because if we've gone through that and we've made it, you realize that you've gone through a lot of tough things in life, and you go through another challenge and you look back, I've been through cancer, I've been through this. So it can also be a motivator, I feel, for them as well.
Yeah, it's a drive. It's also a motivator and also a drive for someone after they already have overcome one hurdle. Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah. So thank you so much, Jodie. And today we have learned a lot from your experience. Let's give a little bit summarize what we have learned from Jodie. Our channel is about power of gratitude. So it's time for you to show your gratefulness, your gratitude. Time for you, Jodie.
Thank you. Well, if this video is airing on my birthday, first person to thank would definitely be my mom. Because without her, I wouldn't be here. And today is also the day she became a mom because I'm the first child of hers. Yeah, and definitely a lot of great values that I realized that I've actually learned from her, including compassion and to be courageous and giving. Apart from that, thank you for inviting me. And the environment that I have, like my friends and family who has always been very supportive, I feel, and accepting of myself. Definitely to my life partner, Sam, who has been very authentic, I would say, with his feedback. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely, relationships are a totally different story. But I realized that when I have somebody so close to me in my life, it's like watching a mirror. And sometimes you don't see the parts that you want to see. But if I learn to embrace, to look at it, with an open heart, I begin to heal a lot of my own inner wounds through a partner like him. Yeah, so definitely he has played a big part in supporting me in my life journey. And also my colleagues, who without them, I would not we would not be able to do the work that we do. And, the people in the society, and like I said, it's 20 years this year, but if it wasn't for the group of parents who started it and the volunteers who came in during that period of time, we wouldn't be here today, 20 years later, and have helped more than 1,400 families. So I realized that there are so many things that come before us, like the women that come before us, so when you're talking about gratitude, I feel that there's so much to be thankful for, in life. And I just feel thankful to be alive during this time and to be able to do what I do. And the children, lastly, the children who some of them are now in heaven, and those who are fighting, I feel that they are also a source of inspiration for us all at work, to be brave, to have courage. And the caregivers of these children who every day, despite their own fears, have to muster up their courage to support the children. It's not easy, but they are the living role models of what it is to love unconditionally and to face fear as brave as they can, so these are who I like to give thanks to.
Thank you so much. We can all hear Jodie is a great friend that has a very, very authentic heart, and also always have open heart to welcome any kind of unknown, and also open her heart to welcome any kind of challenges. Today is a very special day. It's Jodie's birthday. I purposely bring this video for the celebration and also the joy. So the coming new year 2022 is coming very soon. So I wish everyone a lot of joy and enjoy your holiday, no matter where you are in different part of the world. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe my channel and press the notification bell. So thank you very much, Jodie, for joining me today and share a lot of great and precious story of your life. And I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas and happy birthday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.